Hi everyone, it's me Jenny and this is another extra little review and I decided as Courtney chose a horror film that I should watch a classic horror film to make up for it, and so I finally got around to watching The Shining. The Shining is one of those films that it's always on TV, so I've watched clips from this film again and again. You watch documentaries about horror films, it's been so regularly parodied and referenced that you know about the two little girls in the red dress and the corridor of blood and all those sort of things, but I never watched it in full or in one sitting. I don't ever watch clips, I don't ever caught 5-10 minutes here or there, and this movie is one of those rare films that is a movie experience. It is not worth the clips because a lot of what makes this film so great is the way that the tension is built up and the way that you really get into the heads of these characters and into the heart of this really creepy hotel. The acting throughout has some high points and some low points. Sometimes it's a bit on the nose, sometimes it's very subtle and very well done. But the overall atmosphere and sense of this film is what makes it great. The set design in this is amazing. It's a solid, labyrinthine hotel which kind of is both very claustrophobic and very agoraphobic. You feel like you're encased, but it's so big you get lost. It's very labyrinthine. Like, the labyrinth outside is of course labyrinthine, but the actual building itself, it doesn't quite make sense if you look at the inside to the outside. You don't really know where you are at any one point, whether you're upstairs, downstairs, left, right, centre, and each room and each area has different designs in the carpet, different designs on the walls, and it's genuinely creepy. It's very gaudy and really bright in your face, and it's one of those few films where colour's kind of scary because you get lost in the textures, you get lost in the patterns. There is some beautiful direction in this, a lot of absolutely jaw-droppingly stunning pan shots and specifically tracking shots. The tracking shots in this, there's a lot of them. I think if you were playing a drinking game and you wanted one feature that you could drink regularly throughout, the tracking shots are definitely one, particularly the following ones. There's first person tracking shots and there's behind third person tracking shots throughout this film, and it puts you in the mindset of the characters, and it kind of makes you, like, you constantly feel like these characters are being watched. And that they're being followed and stalked, and it's very appropriate particularly during the last act where the characters are being stalked. Like, obviously Danny is being stalked by his dad, and yet Jack is kind of being stalked by whatever entities are in this hotel. I haven't read the book, so obviously most of my information about the differences between the book and the film have come from Wikipedia. That being said, I like this film. It's kind of self-contained. I like separating universes anyway, so this film in itself is a really great film. It's its own cinematic experience. It's very visually interesting. It's very visually complex. I think the script is pretty well done, and it's definitely very much an experience. I have to at least say once, the sound design in this is extraordinarily well done. It is so well done. The music and the kind of kettle whistle noise for whenever anything shining happens is so well done. It's so creepy, it's so well edited. I've said it before, like, the main thing that makes films and games and TV series really, really frightening for me is the sound design. It's that feeling of just not being able to see something but being able to feel it, and that the only real way that you can do that in cinema is to do it through sound, and this is done extraordinarily well. It's really, really creepy. It has such a good build-up throughout the story. There's only actually one death that's really featured in the whole of this film, and yet you're constantly on edge, you're nervous the entire way through. I think Jack Nicholson's character is, you really kind of, you're scared of him from the beginning, which I know is not the intention of the original story, but it's really, really well done how he's kind of insecure and dangerous from the beginning, and yet you can see it getting worse and worse and worse. Wendy is perhaps not the most competent female character, and I realised that, again from Wikipedia, that the original character was slightly more strong and hardy, but I think she does an okay job Again, adaptations I don't mind, and as I haven't read the books, I don't mind her interpretation of the character. She is a very, very weak character, but she does kind of come into her own. You know, she is actively fighting to save her child, and that is something to be commended at the very least. The shining ability, kind of ESP, is very interesting. I like how that's handled. I like, again, the sound design is amazing. Generally, this film is a really great visual, psychological experience. As someone who doesn't like horror films, there were some points that were truly threatening. It's not that gory, it's not that violent, but there are psychological aspects to this that are genuinely terrifying. Like, the first time you get that bloodshot, I literally was like, oh my god! And it's just extraordinarily well done. I think there's several edits. I watched the 2 hour and 20-minute long one, and I would recommend it. I would definitely recommend watching it once, even if you're not the biggest horror fan. This is a great movie in its own right without it being just a horror film. And yeah, that's it. This is just my extra little review because I didn't want to review this week's Movie Club Strikes Back review. Feel free to comment your thoughts on The Shining. Have you read the book? Have you read the film? How do you feel about both of them? What do you think of the acting? What's your thoughts? I want to hear them. And in the meantime, I will see you guys all very soon. Bye guys!